It's the live stream tonight where I'm going through the pro-life news of the day. There is a lot to go over and to share with you. First, I want to call your attention to a Washington Post article that came out in February about baby Milo, who was diagnosed in utero with a deadly disease. It's called Potter syndrome, where you're born without you're born without kidneys and other organ problems. And sadly, his parents and his grandparents have been using baby Milo's story to advocate against Ron DeSantis and the 15-week abortion prevention law that Florida legislators voted in and was passed last year. Because Ron DeSantis announced last night that he was running for president, the Washington Post decided to put this news back out, this article back out in the news, this time with actual audio of baby Milo's mom. And the audio is on their Instagram, and it is, quite honestly, it was devastating to listen to. A mother describe her child being born, gasping for air. Not only was he born without kidneys, baby Milo was born without partially developed lungs. But then to talk about how for 99 minutes he lived and he was loved by everyone in his family, but that he should have been aborted, that he should have been his life violently ended either through dismemberment or a cardiac arrest abortion and be forced to die alone. It was unbelievable today to see the Washington Post try to attack Ron DeSantis' candidacy for presidency by talking about baby Milo's life as if his life never mattered at all. And quite frankly, it shows everything that is wrong with abortion culture in our world today. It was absolutely unbelievable. This is the article that came out on Friday, The Short Life of Baby Milo. This is after the February piece. And look, here's the picture of the family holding baby Milo for the 99 minutes that he was alive and loved. And you could argue living a perfect life as he knew nothing but love in this life. It's absolutely tragic to hear the story, to hear the audio. If you get on the Washington Post Instagram channel, shame on the Washington Post. I try to be pretty fair with the mainstream media and their reporting on abortion, but shame on the Washington Post for using the tragedy of baby Milo's death to try to attack Ron DeSantis. I mean, there was crazy things about Ron DeSantis today. Let's just be honest. Today was day one of the Ron DeSantis campaign for president, and there were some crazy things out there about Ron DeSantis. The first thing I saw this morning was a Politico magazine. So Politico, we've talked about this before. They're the big political newspaper in Washington, D.C. They had a magazine article about how Ron DeSantis doesn't have a chance of winning because he's from Florida. And historically, Americans look down upon men who are from Florida because of the Florida man myth. I thought it was like a Babylon Bee article. It was not. This was a actual political newspaper in Washington, D.C., not to mention the other attacks that were thrown at Ron DeSantis, including a lot of folks who were criticizing Ron DeSantis for going to Twitter and using Twitter Spaces. Now, granted, there were problems. I was one of the 900,000 people trying to listen to his announcement speech last evening. But I actually thought it was kind of cool to try something new, to try something different, which honestly is what we need, is people who are willing to try something new and try something different. And conservatives just crapped on all of that, which I thought was, the opposite of what we should be doing in terms of inspiring innovation. But I mean, really, some people are like, well, Ron DeSantis wants America to be like Florida. Yeah, I want America to be like Florida. Florida, a state where killing a baby after a baby has a heartbeat is illegal and is wrong. That seems like a pretty common sense position of a place to start. Let's talk about other news. Target. So Target today, I was reading tonight. I had a migraine this afternoon, so I was out of commission this afternoon. But Target this afternoon, I saw a news article that they're reporting losses of $9 billion in the past 6 days because moms and dads have had enough with what's going on in Target. unbelievable. Super exciting to see that people are starting to finally get serious about voting with their dollars. I just did a podcast, explicitly pro podcast, with Michael Sievert, the founder of Public Square, which is the app that you can download. Which, by the way, this app has like surged to like the top apps in the App Store now, where you can go on and you can put like what you need, like makeup, jeans, whatever, and you can find companies that align with your values and won't spend their profits, giving money to open Satanists who, make merchandise that say Satan respects pronouns, which I will say is a factually correct statement. What was interesting today was I found that Instagram was actually trying to put a misleading warning on my video that I did when I was in Target 2 days ago, saying that I said that they're doing this for everyone. So they were saying that it was misleading information because Target doesn't do tuck swimsuits for children. I never said that. I'm saying the tuck swimsuits that are for teens and for adults were literally next to baby onesies. So good try, Meta. Sounds like Target's working with you. All right, so let's see. Ron DeSantis. Okay, South Carolina governor. Awesome news. This morning, the South Carolina governor, Henry McMaster, actually signed into law the Heartbeat Abortion Prevention Act, which prevents abortions at the first sign where you can actually hear a baby's heartbeat. This is massive. This means every state south of Florida and east of New Mexico, since Roe v. Wade, has enacted a common sense abortion restriction or state. If you have a friend who's pro-abortion liberal and they seem pissed off tomorrow, it's probably because they know life is winning in America. Last story I'll talk about today, Calvin Klein. So they had more. So like things weren't crazy enough, there was like a North Face Instagram commercial of like a trans drag queen with like makeup and lipstick, but like a mustache and telling people to come out to North Face. They obviously are on the bandwagon. Calvin Klein issued an ad of a trans man wearing a bra that was similar to everything else going on. Now, I'm going to give you a trigger warning right now because I just saw this. My staff put this picture in here, and I wish somebody would have warned me. So I'm going to warn you right now. This isn't going to be a pretty picture. So, yeah, this is their ad. I don't know what more I need to say. I don't want to look at this. I want my kids to look at this. So Calvin Klein is jumping on the bandwagon, and they want to be right there in with Target. So if you really want to get busy, you can make a pretty large boycott list for the month of June, because quite honestly, the list is getting very long, and the woke corporations who are all in for the transgender movement, this movement that is chemically castrating our children, the list, it continues to grow. I mean, by the way, have you seen the stuff happening out of LA where the Dodgers, I talked about last night, where they invited back this blasphemous trans drag queen group that they say they're nuns, that like literally they're a hate group against Catholics. They're a Catholic hate group that's getting an award by the Dodgers. So by the way, if you like baseball, I don't, but you should call the Dodgers and complain. But thanks everyone for tuning in to Pro-Life Gen News tonight. I hope this was helpful. I'll come to you tomorrow night with more news for everyone. And sadly, I think there's going to be a lot more news. I just talked to our General Counsel of Students for Life and Hunter College.